Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the hardness of water or soap destroying power of water. Hardness of water is divided into two types. One, we have temporary hardness of water, which is carbonate hardness, where we use calcium and magnesium salts of bicarbonate. Then we have permanent hardness of water, which is also called as non-carbonate hardness, which is calcium and magnesium salts of sulfate, chloride and nitrate. Hardness of water is mainly expressed in milliequivalent per liter of calcium carbonate. 1 milliequivalent per liter of hardness is equal to 50 milligrams of calcium carbonate per liter of water. So, right, classification of hardness of water. This is very important, these numbers. Classification of hardness of water. Here, level of hardness of water. Soft water is, if it is less than 1 or less than 50 milligram per liter, then it is soft water. We call moderately hard water if the level of hardness is 1 to 3 milliequivalent per liter and 50 to 150 milligram per liter. Hard water has 3 to 6 milliequivalent per liter or 150 to 300 milligram per liter. Very hard water has more than 6 milliequivalent per liter or more than 300 milligrams per liter of hardness. Softening of water is recommended at more than 3 milliequivalent of water or more than 150 milligram per liter of calcium carbonate. How are you going to remove the water? Removal of hardness of water can be by two ways. One, by temporary method, and second, we have permanent method. In temporary method, it includes boiling, addition of life, addition of sodium carbonate and permutate process. In permanent removal of hardness of water, we have sodium carbonate and base exchange purpose. Then bacteriological indicator of water quality. Bacteriological indicator of water quality includes first we have coliform organisms. Coliform organisms are first indicator is coliform organisms. These are primary and most reliable form. Here E. coli is the most common coliform indicator. It is almost the best indicator of water. Why do you take coliforms as indicator among all the organisms? The reasons for choosing coliform as indicator is because if you see first, they have constant presence. Their constant presence in abundance in human intestine. So by ruling out coliforms, we can make sure that the water is not contaminated with human stools, and because they are easily detectable by culture methods just through either nutrient agar or mechanke agar or clade agar. With them we can easily detect the coliform organisms, E. coli, and because of their longer survival, and they also have greater resistance to flow of normal purification. They are not easily purified. So that is the reason why we take coliforms as indicator. Then the second indicator is we can use fecal, that is fecal streptococci. Fecal streptococci is taken as recent indicator of recent contamination of water. Then the third indicator is Clostridium perfringens, which includes remote contamination of water, which will tell us about the remote contamination of water. Now, the coliforms. So we have a test called as presumptive coliform test. In presumptive coliform test can be divided into two types. One, we have multiple tube tests. Second, membrane filter test. In multiple tube test is based on estimating the most probable number of coliforms in 100 ml of water is multiple tube test. This has culture medium. Here in multiple tube test is McConkey, lactose, bile salt. Indicator is bromocresol, purple, whereas the presumption of multiple tube test includes the tubes showing fermentation contain coliform. If the tubes showing fermentation containing coliforms, then they are multiple tube test. Methods are: the tubes are inoculated with 0, 1, 10, 50 ml of water and incubated for 48 hours. Then the confirmatory test for multiple tube test is Ekman test. In Ekman test, we take subcultures of each presumptive positive tube in 2 tubes of brilliant green bile. In confirmatory test of Ekman test is subculture each presumptive positive tube in 2 tubes of brilliant green bile broth, and then we will incubate this solution for 1 tube. We are putting it in 2 tubes, right? The first tube we will incubate at 37 degrees Celsius for 48 hours, whereas second tube we will intubate at 44 degrees Celsius for 6 to 24 hours. This first tube will confirm the coliforms, whereas second tube will confirm the presence of E. coli. Second tube will confirm the presence of E. coli. The true MPN test, that is MPN index, is calculate the revised MPN from McCarty's tube. Okay, then we have the second technique, which is called as membrane filter technique. In membrane filter technique, we use the membrane is cellulose ester. We use cellulose ester as membrane, and in this we pass volumes of water through the membrane and then inoculate this membrane on solid media. We will inoculate this membrane on solid media and we count it for 20 hours. This is membrane filter technique. Then, what is the classification of waterborne diseases? All the diseases which are related or born or somewhere related to water, this include classified into 4 types. 1. Waterborne diseases. Waterborne diseases are those which are transmitted through drinking water, that is fecal-oral route. These include typhoid, cholera, dysentery and viral hepatitis. Then watershed disease. Watershed disease are those diseases which include infection of outer body surface. This occurs due to inadequate use of water or improper water hygiene. If we do not clean our body properly, then that causes watershed disease like scabies, trachoma, bacillary dysentery or amoebic dysentery. These are watershed disease. Then we have waterborne disease. Waterborne disease, if the infection, water-based disease if infection is transmitted through aquatic invertebrates, animals like schistosomiasis, dracunculosis, which is guinea worm, where the disease is transmitted through aquatic invertebrate animals like guinea worm, crabs. Then we have water related disease. Water related disease are those which are spread by insects that depend on water, like malaria, filaria, dengue, yellow fever and onchocerciasis. Malaria, dengue, yellow fever, all these pathogens produce their larva and they put their larva in the water bodies. So these are water related diseases. So all these are the classifications of waterborne disease. Thank you for watching my lecture. Thank you.